The PAREA program is set up in such a way that you will be assigned a mentor. That mentor will take you through 10 practice assignments.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast, helping appraisers increase their efficiency, quality, and make more money. Here's the guy who makes it his life's mission to create value for real estate appraisers nationwide. Your host and the Appraiser Coach, Dustin Harris.
We're going to be talking PAREA today, give you an update on what is going on as of the first quarter of 2024. I want to pause and remind you that we're sponsored by a couple of great companies. One of them is Working RE Magazine. I've got the magazine on my desk today, workingre.com, and a la mode. A la mode, of course, is the software that I use both on my phone and on my desktop to do my appraisals. You should be as well. alamode.com or 800 alamode. All right, folks, so I want to give you a quick update on PAREA. For those of you who don't know what the hell I'm talking about, let me just break it down for you. You actually do know what I'm talking about. You might not know the terminology, but practical application of real estate appraisals. You've heard of it. It is the modernization, if you will, of the path to real estate appraisal. Okay, where did this come from? Well, you first heard of PAREA. Sometimes people call it PAREA. I've probably said that too. I changed my mind a little bit about PAREA, by the way. I was a little bit, I didn't have the same reaction that most people had when they first heard about it in October of 2020. In fact, I've got proof for that because the day it was announced, I got on Facebook Live with my members of the All-Star team, and I said, hey, here it is. Let me tell you my thoughts. And I was very open-minded. Let's just put it that way. Very open-minded about the idea of online learning. I certainly have the same concerns that most people have. The analogy that's been used by those who are opposed to PAREA has, been, you can't learn how to be a firefighter by watching YouTube videos. Okay. But I would say this, folks, I don't know, maybe you could. The digital world and the way that we learn is pretty amazing. I'm going to admit something here that's a little bit embarrassing, but just to give you an idea of what's out there, I've recently got on Instagram. I know, a little embarrassed to admit that, but I recently got on Instagram and I don't really like it yet, but I'm starting to scroll reels and get sucked into the vortex, if you will. And I saw a car chase the other day on a reel, and I sent it to my son and I said, this can't be real, can it? Part of me said, there's no way this is real. And part of it was like, damn, that looks real. And of course it wasn't. It was a video game that, and my point is this, the video games today are blow you away detailed. I mean, they really do look real. And this one looked real. And of course my son laughed at me and thought it was real funny and said that there's a bunch of reels out there of old people looking at these types of things and thinking they're real. So I guess I'm officially an old person that doesn't know how to use Instagram. But my point is this, I digress. My point is this, folks, digital learning is pretty incredible. It really is. Some of the things you can do with digital learning these days absolutely will blow you away. And so, the whole analogy of you can't learn how to be a firefighter by watching YouTube videos, I think that's a little bit of an oversimplification, frankly. I think that you can learn quite a bit about being a real estate appraiser. One of the things that the pro PAREA people will say is, so you're telling me that the education that you got from your mentor was perfect, was stellar. I love my mentor, and God bless his soul. He passed away about a year ago, actually, in March of 2023. My father, love him to death, miss him every day. But guess what? My training wasn't the best. My dad did the best he could, and I spent many years doing it wrong. I just did. He did what he thought was best. I did what I thought was best. So part of me is like, I kind of see it. I kind of can see that that there's something to be said about, if you strategically set up this training in such a way that it's different than most appraisers are trained, that there's some plus to it as well. So my point, my friends, is this. I see both sides. That's not the purpose of the podcast today. Purpose of the podcast is not to get Dustin's opinion on PAREA, but there you go. Now you have it. The purpose of the podcast today is to give you a little bit of an update on what's going on. So October 2020 was the first announcement on PAREA. AQB, the Appraiser Qualifications Board, announced that this would a new path, right? Now, remember, folks, how this works. Sometimes we get confused about how the regulation works, okay? The AQB is not a regulatory body. It can best be described as a suggestive body, okay? Not that kind of suggestive body. A body that suggests things. Oh, boy. It is a think tank. It is a group of people who get together and say, you know what, we think this is the way it ought to be. Now, to their credit, most legislatures in states don't have time to do the work that the AQB does. And so let's just be honest. In practical terms, usually whatever the AQB suggests, states adopt. They trust that the AQB has done their homework and say, you know what, if it's good enough for the goose, it's good enough for the gander. AQB's the goose, we're the gander. If AQB says PAREA is great, then what the hell, it's great, okay? So that's pretty much what has happened across the board. In fact, as of this recording, about 48 states have adopted PAREA. Dave Bunton, by the way, who's the president of the Appraisal Foundation, is predicting that all 50 states will adopt PAREA by September 24. The reason I'm doing the podcast today is I've had a couple of appraisers say, what happened to PAREA? Has it just disappeared? Well, folks, it is full steam ahead. Now, there's been some bumps along the roads. For example, there were 2 educators chosen in the beginning, if I remember right. It could be wrong, but I think there were 2 educators that were chosen in the beginning to be official educators for the PAREA program. One of them dropped out at the first of the year and basically claimed, and I'm paraphrasing, but they just didn't think that there was enough money in it for them. The cost, if you will, to create an excellent PAREA program was too much. So the lone standing survivor right now of the education side is AI, is the, not artificial intelligence, the other AI. Appraisal Institute. Okay. Now, the Appraisal Institute, according to this magazine right here, Working RE magazine, is reported to have spent in excess of $2 million so far on developing PAREA. I know, huge, right? $2 million to create PAREA. By the way, again, I found it from this magazine, a sponsor today of the program, Working RE magazine. Folks, if you're not getting this magazine, if you're not on YouTube, by the way, you don't see what I'm showing, right? If you're not getting this magazine, you need to be getting it in your mailbox. You can sign up, by the way, by going to their website, workingre.com. Again, workingre.com. And of course, we're sponsored by Alamode. Alamode, of course, is my software of choice, and you do have a choice. By the way, folks, can I just stress, there's some awesome appraisal software out there. I just choose Alamode. I think it's the best. I think it's the best value. Do I pay more than I might for a competitor? Yes. The value that I get is worth the investment. The amount of tools, the ability to go in the field and gather on site, absolutely stunning and amazing. Alamode.com or 800 Alamode. All right, folks, welcome back to the program. My name is Dustin Harris. You are listening to the Appraiser Coach Podcast. Just trying to give you a quick update on PAREA, the Practical Applications of Real Estate Appraisals program that was first announced in October 2020. It was started being adopted by states in 2021. I started to say this, and I don't know if I fully finished and closed the loop. AQB suggests states adopt, okay? So far, until they go to a national licensing, which may be coming, who knows, until they go to a national licensing, every state has the opportunity to accept or reject whatever they want as far as state law goes concerning real estate appraisers. Real estate appraisers, as of this recording, are governed by your state or province that you are in. And they typically, most of the time, I'd say 90+% of the time, will just accept whatever the AQB suggests. So the AQB has suggested that PAREA be a pathway to getting an appraisal license. Now, again, there are people on either side. Today is not the debate as to whether or not PAREA is a good program or not a good program. But I will say the reasoning given by the AQB for the PAREA program is that so many appraisers are having a difficult time finding mentors. And folks, I think you see that. If you're on the social medias, if you are on the interwebs, if you are paying attention at all to what's going on in the world, there's a lot of wannabe appraisers who don't have a pathway to get there. They can't find a mentor. By the way, I did a whole training on how to find a mentor, and I all but guaranteed you'll find a mentor if you go through that training. It's part of my all-star team, by the way, free for those of you who are a member of my all-star team. So if you are interested in becoming an appraiser and you cannot find a mentor, I highly encourage you go through that course, how to become a real estate appraiser. And I will walk you step by step how to get a mentor. And I promise you it's going to work. I promise you it's going to work. Anyway, I digress. So instead of finding a mentor, PAREA is the alternative. Now, some have claimed, again, how can you become an appraiser online? Well, guess what, folks? It's not strictly online. Yes, there is some online training. Yes, there are some video trainings. There's also some practical experience, and you are actually assigned a mentor. So instead of finding a mentor, the PAREA program is set up in such a way that you will be assigned a mentor. That mentor will take you through 10 practice assignments. Now, some of you say, well, 10, that's not very many. You're going to do 10 appraisals and you're going to be an appraiser? No, you're not going to be an appraiser after 10 practice assignments. You're going to be an appraiser that's done 10 practice assignments after 10 practice assignments, right? Nobody is claiming that it's going to be the end all be all, right? Were you ready to be an appraiser the day after you got your license, the day you took your test? Come on, really? I mentored under my father for 3 years. And as I mentioned earlier in the program, it took me at least another decade to feel like I was actually doing the job that I should be doing. Knock on wood that I'm doing it now. And thank goodness for the statute of limitation. When I went back the other day and looked at an appraisal that I did about 15 years ago, and I'm just like, holy buckets, I'm glad that I can't get in trouble for that thing now. The cost for PAREA, it's about $4,000. If you are a non-member of AI, it's I think $44.25 is the price tag. If you are a member of AI, it's like $39.95, just shy of $4,000. Yes, there are students in the PAREA program. I've been asked that. Are there actually people out there? Yeah. How did it go? Are they graduated? How are they doing? No, they're not graduated because this is a multiple year program. You can't get your appraisal license in a couple of months through PAREA. And so it has not been out there long enough for people to have gone through the program. I guess the jury is out, as they say. We need to wait and see how it goes. But that's where it's at, folks. That's an update on the PAREA program. It's still alive and well with one educator, the Appraisal Institute. If you want to become a real estate appraiser, you have that choice. By the way, if you want to go the old traditional route as well, I want to stress I do have a course out there that every single person that's gone through it so far has found a mentor. Okay, I'll give you that. I give you the steps that you need to take to get a mentor. And I know you're gonna say, well, Dustin, I've gone through 50 people and I can't find a mentor. Telling you, you're doing it wrong. Check it out by going to my website, theappraisercoach.com. Sign up for the All-Star team and you will get free access to that course on how to become a real estate appraiser. Thanks for joining me today, folks, on PAREA, update on PAREA. Talk to you later and go create some value.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.